Have you guys heard of Project Rene? Does this ring a bell for anybody? Project Rene? Well, Project Rene is supposed to be the follow-up to The Sims 4. So they've said they don't want to do The Sims 5. They want to do like a follow-up that's sort of a living, breathing live service reinvention of it. So they don't really do big standalone releases. It's just an evolution of the game from year to year, right? Well, some leaks have happened, and now we've seen it. You can see this reporting from Insider Gaming. In recent days, new shots from a test build of Project Rene have allegedly leaked online, showcasing several changes that have left the Sims community disappointed. At first blush, it appears that EA has changed the conceptual style revealed so many months ago and pivoted to a more mobile-friendly design, complete with grindy tasks and, of course, microtransactions. On September 17th, the team revealed that there were no plans to release The Sims 5, and instead it would be keep pushing updates into The Sims 4 for the decade-old title. And going mobile, Project Rene has been in development for the longest time, and the team at EA hasn't exactly been forthcoming with updates. From leaks concerning an open world map to a developer diary that exposed some prototype art for the game, details have been drip-fed to the community over the last few years. In the last few days, though, some leaked images have surfaced online, revealing what's claimed to be a more updated test build of Project Rene. These images have caused fans to lash out against the devs for creating what appears to be a typical and rather generic mobile game. And when we pull these up, this is like the prototype scene. You can see this post. I can't believe my eyes that Project Rene has switched its course from being the promised successor to The Sims 4 to some ugly ass mobile game that will just be another cash grab full of ads. So this is a prototype. This is the leak. I can understand why people are frustrated. I get it. I get it. You can see they have like the in-game currency. They have the grindy stuff for checklists to keep you engaged longer. They have the sassy face in the top corner, which is horrifying. It's too bad. It's too bad. Now, to be fair, this is development footage, okay? Most games, if you saw them in the prototype phase, you'd be like, that looks like garbage. What are you doing? Okay, so like, to be fair, like we can't say concretely that we know what the game is going to be like based on this, but I think that this gives you a vibe at the very least of what they're going for. And it's pretty clear that when they say mobile friendly interface, yeah, I mean, this clearly has been designed for tapping in mind. And the whole idea, I think, with Project Rene is that they want to release it on console, sure, PC, but they also want to put it on phones. So it needs to be able to scale across all of that so you can play it anywhere. You can pick up your phone, play your game and your character, set it down, go home, boot it up on your computer, play it there, or your console or Switch 2, whatever. And that's the goal. And I get why they want that. I get it. I understand. And I do think there's a lot of people who will play it that way and will spend a lot of money on it, having been set up that way. But I think that this is just like an instant turnoff for a lot of people. And for Sims fans who have been waiting for more depth and complexity for years, this is just not gonna do it. And I mean, talk about a pivot. This, I understand, prototype, they even wrote on the bottom, visuals are exploratory and do not represent final gameplay. So they're saying, yeah, we're just experimenting. This could change, but we're just seeing if this is the vibe we want to go for. And instead they've pivoted to go something like this, which is much more Roblox-y. And that's the route they're going. And you know what? If they're trying to chase the Roblox crowd, I get it. Roblox makes ridiculous amounts of money, and I don't get it. I don't understand it, but it does. And so if they're just trying to make money off of that crowd, more power to you, I guess. But don't be surprised when like core Sims fans hate it. And this is the mistake that a lot of studios have made, rather. And that is assuming that you can abandon your base franchise, fan base, and just get another chunk of players from somewhere else easily. You know, it's the same thing that Suicide Squad did. It's the same thing that Concord did to a certain extent. But basically, like, if you think, let's take Sims, for example. You have this bubble of Sims fans, okay? And then you have Roblox fans. Roblox. Okay? You'd think that the Sims 4 or Sims 5 or whatever the hell we're on would come over and maybe try to bridge the divide. They'd come and try to slice this and then also slice some of that with their offering. So they get some crossover. They pull in some new players from over here, and then they bring in a lot of the old school fans. You'd think that's what they try to do. Keep the old fans happy and bring in some new ones. But it doesn't seem like that's what they're doing. What I get from this is that they're trying to do this and say, screw you. You guys keep playing Sims 4. Sit down. And the problem is when you screw over this group of people, your original fans, they're not happy about it. And they verbalize it. They tell everybody about it. They go on X and they make posts about it. They make videos about it. The streamers talk about it. The YouTubers make videos on it. And game journalists pick it up and start doing stories. It starts to take off. And then this little red bubble starts to get weighed down in negativity. It starts to drop lower and lower. And all of a sudden, it's not appealing to the whole group of Roblox fans. Because again, what is one of the most potent forces in all of gaming? Peer pressure. And the worst thing you can do as a gamer is play something that makes you uncool. And if everybody agrees that this game is cringe, doesn't matter how appealing this bubble is, it's going to start shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And eventually, you might get a few Roblox fans to come over and try it. But you abandoned something this size that could have taken advantage of all those fans, maybe even pulled over some of the Roblox fans as well. You've abandoned all of that to capture a little bitty bubble. And even that's going to get smaller as the years go by, because they're just going to go back to Roblox. And I think it's so short-sighted. It's the same exact thing that happened with like Suicide Squad. It's the same thing where they said, oh, we have a big fan base that like really loves our games. Our Arkham games. Okay, well, we also want to make basically a looter shooter. So what if we just like, let's say Arkham fans, what if we abandoned them and went over looter shooter fans and we make a bubble that appeals to that? What if we do that? And so they said, oh, we do a little bit of stuff. We have some cutscenes, but we're going to try to make something that appeals to all this. Well, these people were so upset that they voiced their concerns. And they made this really uncool. And so all of a sudden, the bubble gets smaller. And it gets even smaller. Until it's like not even in the looter shooter fan base. And it's just its own little thing until it pops out of existence and goes away. And they keep doing this. It's the flaw of live service games built around fan bases where they're just trying to milk the audience for money. Like, and they don't care. They don't care. You know, it's just... It's too bad. They are literally milking the franchise and milking the fan base. And it's too bad. It really is too bad. So anyway, no shock there. No shock there. It looks like hot dog water. And granted, it is very early on. Very early on. It could change. But it certainly is not where you want to be at this point. You'd hope people would see the prototype and be like, that looks awesome. But that's not what they're saying. Inzoi, yeah. So Inzoi is another game that's coming. And if you don't know about it, basically Inzoi. Okay, it's coming from Crafton, and it's basically just supposed to be the more realistic Sims alternative. So if you are frustrated by the route they've gone, this is supposed to give you something different that is going to be potentially closer to what you're hoping for. You can see all sorts of personality traits. It's a much more grounded art style. This freaked people out, but this is like a genuinely cool use of 3D or of AI, where they are allowing you to take pictures and then go in and upload it to the game, and it will convert it into a 3D object to put into your game. So if you take a picture of this, it uses generative AI to turn it into a 3D model. So you can customize to a much greater extent, which is ridiculous. And this, people feel, is going to be the Sims killer. Like, this is what those hardcore Sims fans are going to move over to, which I actually would believe. I haven't tried Inzoi myself. I know some people tried it. They did like a beta or something recently. And so I'm sure that this, if it continues to take off and if people continue to get really into it and they keep increasing the funding and stuff, this could be something really, really great. And at the very least, it seems really interesting. And honestly, this is what I always hoped The Sims would turn into. It would turn into like a more complex, advanced simulation, kind of like a Second Life thing. But instead, they've gone the route of just trying to turn it into something that's easier to milk for cash, and it's too bad. And it's also too bad because I'm sure that this is still going to make tons of money. It doesn't seem to run super great. That's the one thing. I've seen a lot of clips where it seems like it's struggling to maintain even like 25 frames, but it's also early, so it could get better. But pretty interesting, huh? The point is, this is why competition is good, because if Inzoi comes out and is fantastic and people eat it up and it sells super well and people are like, this is what I've always wanted, and that Sims project flops, then you could see them actually figuring it out, and you see EA shifting and trying to win people over that way. But time will tell. Time will tell. But we'll keep an eye on it because Inzoi does seem very, very interesting. My main issues are with performance. I just don't know how well it's gonna go. EA is too busy trying to figure out how to make their least costly manipulated monetized games. Well, it's just, this is the age-old problem for these bigger companies, is that they have franchises people know and love, and then they are going and trying to turn them into mobile games and games like a Roblox that just print money. And then they're surprised when the trailers get mass downvoted, when the fan base is upset about it, because they're trying to get that new audience. They're trying to get the Roblox players to play it, and they probably will, and they'll throw money at them because Roblox makes so much money. But it feels like these executives don't understand that people have emotional attachments to these franchises. Sims means something to a lot of people. It just does. They played it growing up, or they maybe played it with their older sibling a lot. And, you know, it just holds a special place in their heart. And you can't just monetize that and milk it dry without upsetting people. Like, in the same way, if you find out that CDPR's Witcher 4 or like one of their Witcher projects is just going to be a live service thing where it's like, I don't even know what would even be possible. Imagine it's just like a match 3 gacha game, like basically WWE Champions, but just 15,000 different skins of Geralt and stuff. You'd be like, no, screw you. Like, this is garbage. How dare you? You know, it would upset people. There would be people that would play it. I have no doubt. You know, I'm sure somebody like DSP would spend hundreds of thousands in it. But you shouldn't be surprised if the core audience freaks out about it. And that's where we're at right now, is just that these companies are taking franchises people love, and then they're trying to monetize them to different audiences other than the fan base. And then it doesn't work because the fan base are the people that would have bought it to begin with. It's just so short-sighted. So short-sighted. Like Veilguard, that's funny. No, with Veilguard, funnily enough, Veilguard was supposed to be a live service game, and it was until like COVID. It was gonna be a live service game, like a big multiplayer thing. And then they pivoted off and changed it into a single player thing, which I'm very glad to hear. So that was an instance that was kind of surprising when they actually did the opposite. They actually went from live service, milking it for all it's worth, and pivoted towards a more pro-consumer single-player thing, which I think is awesome. You know, instead of, can you imagine if Veilguard was announced and then it's like, yeah, and then it's a live service thing. Bye-bye BioWare. But they made the right choice. They really did. He took my thing.